Ennerdale Flake. Lakeland masterpiece or soapy mess? Welcome to the Tainted Tavern.
Coming to the Tainted Tavern, come sit a while for free. We talk about our musings and devices we've been using. Coming to the Tainted Tavern, the best place to be, where the beer's a little cloudy, but the company's clear as day.
You know, Ennerdale Flake is one of those truly polarizing tobaccos. It's got that distinctive lakeside toppings, which some call a floral topping, which can give many people the experience of sucking on a bar of soap, especially new, inexperienced pipe smokers. But some of us are huge fans of Ennerdale Flake. I mean, it remains Gawith Hoggarth's biggest selling aromatic tobacco, and there's a reason for that. But perhaps to understand the floral nature of Ennerdale Flake, the taste profile, perhaps we need to look at its history. Perhaps we need to go to Kendal. Ennerdale Flake takes its name from the water in Ennerdale, Cumbria. It has remained a staple in pipe smoking tradition since tobacco blending started in the region in 1792. The blending house, deeply intertwined with the Samuel Gawith family, has been producing tobacco in Kendal since the 18th century. Gawith, Hoggarth and Company continue to have links with the Lowther Street factory, utilising 1790s machinery and production methods that have remained virtually unchanged. Gawith Hoggarth have been creating fine tobaccos for more than 200 years, 2 centuries. Let that sink in. They must be doing something right. The history can be tasted in every puff of tobacco. Thomas Harrison originally teamed up with a chemist named Thomas Brocklebank. Brocklebank, now that's a surname that could have come from Tolkienshire. Proudfoot, Brandybuck and Brocklebrook. They operated under the name of Harrison and Brocklebuck tobacco manufacturers and were successful. It helped that they were situated in Kendal, which meant that they were on the Pacos route to London and Scotland. They could get their tobacco out there. Now, when Thomas Harrison died in 1830, his son Thomas Harrison II took over, and it was then that the family bought the premises at Lowther Street, where they remain linked to this day. Now, when Thomas Harrison died in 1830, his son Thomas Harrison II took over, and it was then that the family bought the premises at Lowther Street, where they remain to this day. Harrison had 2 daughters, Jane and Anne. Now, just like any self-respecting 1830s father, Thomas wanted to get his daughters married and out of his hair. There was only so much you could take of them sitting round in their bodice and reading Jane Eyre or Wuthering Heights. Now, Jane eventually married a man called Samuel Gawith, and he brought his mutton chops, high-waisted trousers and expertise into the tobacco business. Now, Thomas and Anne Harrison died around the same time, leaving Samuel and Jane in charge of the business. But 1 year later, Samuel Gawith also died. The mutton chops, high-waisted trousers and expertise went the way of all flesh. The company was left to 3 people, Samuel Gawith II, Henry Hoggarth and John Illingworth. Henry Hoggarth was a friend of Samuel Gawith Sr. and served as a travelling salesman for the company. 1867 would see Illingworth leave to start his own tobacco firm. And that's another story for another day. But the business was primarily run now by Gawith II and his brother John Edward. The younger Gawith brother, William Henry, and Henry Hoggarth's son, Henry Jr., it's a bit more imaginative, I suppose, Henry Jr. than Henry II, which seemed to be the kind of thing they followed up to then. So Henry Jr. also began to work at the firm in 1870 after they left school. This is the origins of the company that these days operates as both Samuel Gawith and Gawith Hoggarth. Of course, they are one company now, as they originally were, but for many years they were separated, and you can find that story of that split on this channel with a video entitled The Scandal That Split the Leaf. But here's a taster. In the mid-1800s, the tobacco works in Kendal were run by the extended Gawith family. a formidable clan who had built their reputation grinding snuff and pressing pipe tobacco beside the picturesque rivers of the Lake District. But one of these men may have been grinding a little more than snuff. Among the partners were two men, Samuel Gawith, steady, respected and proud of his family name, and John Hoggarth, ambitious, charismatic, and perhaps a little too fond of Kendal's social life. Now, Kendal was not London. It was a small town, which meant everybody knew everybody's business, and before long whispers began drifting through the mill workers and the snuff grinders. These whispers concerned Mrs. Gawith and Mr. Hoggarth. According to the tale, workers began noticing strange things. A lantern burning late behind the tobacco warehouse. Footsteps in the yard long after the grinding mills had stopped. Mr. Hoggarth tending to his fine head of hair, seemingly just to take an evening constitutional. One apprentice swore that he had seen a gentleman's hat and a lady's shawl disappear into the darkness of the alley behind the curing sheds. In a town that smelled permanently of tobacco, gossip travelled faster than latakia smoke in a stiff Lakeland breeze. Eventually the rumours reached Samuel Gawith himself. Interestingly, the historical records don't even tell us the name of Samuel Gawith's wife, which means if there was a scandal behind the tobacco works, then Victorian Kendal kept its secrets very close to its chest. One evening, so the story goes, Gawith left the mill early. He walked through the narrow cobbled lane behind the factory, the very place where the curing shed stood, and there beneath the lamplight he found them, Hoggarth and his wife, entangled together in a lover's embrace. Words were exchanged, Victorian words, which is to say they were probably polite and lasted for about 10 seconds. "You bounder! You cod! Not a single wanker, shithead or randy bastard to be heard." Then fists started flying. The story says the two men fought right there in the yard behind the tobacco works, while startled workers looked on from the doors of the mill. They fought with a ferocity usually reserved for prize fighters, and all over the affections of a sweet lass, said to be rather generous of bosom. Barrels rolled, caps fell off, someone shouted, "The waters are coming!" And by the time the dust settled, the partnership between the two men was finished forever. Soon afterwards, the Kendal tobacco business divided into two rival houses, Samuel Gawith and Gawith Hoggarth. Two companies, same town, same tobacco traditions. They even shared much of the same machinery, and apparently a penchant for the same woman. But if the story is to be believed, then no love was lost between them. Now, historians will tell you that the split was probably just a business matter, but pipe smokers rather like this other version. That somewhere behind those Kendal tobacco works, a Victorian love affair, a scandal of Dickensian proportions, and a good old-fashioned fistfight helped create two of Britain's most famous tobacco houses. Well, we can all hold on to our pipe dreams. But if Hoggarth really did run off with Mrs. Gawith, the randy bastard, at least something good came out of the argument.
Which brings us back to Ennerdale Flake. While the roots of the blending process at the Kendal factory date back to the late 1700s, Ennerdale Flake has long been a beloved staple of the modern pipe community. The exact recipe, known for its distinct Lakeland essence of rose, bergamot and delicious citrus oils, which is applied to Virginia and Burley leaves, has been produced on equipment dating back to the 1790s. We can't be sure of the exact date when Ennerdale Flake was first produced, but what we do know is that it's a bloody old traditional blend.
It's one of those tobaccos that, when I first smoked it, I wasn't that keen on it, but this is going back several years now, a few decades to be honest with you. And during that period, I'd only just got used to the taste of Condo. When I first tried Condo, which to these days remains one of my favourite tobaccos, I was getting that soapy aftertaste on the roof of my mouth. And I thought, oh my gosh, how do people smoke this? But at that period, Condo was the actual best-selling tobacco in the UK. And I persevered. I went off and tried different tobaccos and came back to Condo. And I found that actually I love Condo. And I no longer get that soapy taste. So maybe it's just my palate getting used to the toppings, the Lakeland style topping which Condo historically had, which some people describes as rose oil or geranium, and Condo is known for ghost in the pipe. Now Ennerdale Flake, if you like, in regards to the geranium floral taste, is like Condo on steroids, and Ennerdale too can ghost the pipe. But as I say, these days Ennerdale is one of my favourites. I've always got a tin of Ennerdale in my rotation. So I think it's one of those tobaccos that when someone's first starting their tobacco journey, they may not particularly enjoy it, and they may, get soured and put off by that distinctive taste, which I can't really find a description for. I wouldn't say it's soapy anymore. I think the soapiness that I can distinctively remember getting from tobaccos like this was my palate being attuned to the tastes. I mean, if I try to analyse the tastes I get from Ennerdale, rather than just sitting down and enjoying the pipe and being in the moment with the pipe, I'll give it a try. It's just incredibly smooth now. Very much a sweet Virginia taste. That I remember that when I first ever tried it, that taste that sometimes people describe as a soapy taste sort of hit me on the nose, and I thought, I don't like this. But after a while I started to I find it delicious, really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward now to experiencing that. And even if I try and detect any of that soapiness that tobacco is known for, I don't get it. So I very much do think that the soapiness that people report is just the fact that you're not attuned to this particular tobacco style, this Lakeland dressing. I personally find it absolutely astounding. And of course, as explained earlier in the spoken word section of this video, it's got a long storied history, so there must be something good about Ennerdale Flake. Let's go in. It should light rather easily.
As I watch the sun descending and the birds fly home to rest.
Okay, so that's smooth, creamy, Virginia, the sweetness that comes from Virginia. Pairs well with a Scotch whiskey.
In my pipe, like a whisper through the cornfield.
Those old familiar places.
Comes a gentle evening breeze. At the doorway of my cottage I recall old memories.
Very much enjoying this. I was watching a gentleman on YouTube last night, a pipe-smoking gentleman, and I can't remember the name. I should have made a note. My bad. But he was talking about how pipe smoking now, with people trying to pull out too many tastes from pipe smoking, can impede on the actual enjoyment, on the actual art of smoking a pipe, on the actual art of just being one with your pipe and enjoying it. And he showed two clips, and one clip was from a YouTube channel where several people usually sit around a table and smoke a certain tobacco and see what flavours, what nuances they can pull out of it. And the other video was a vintage video of a group of men in a pub, very much like the Tainted Tavern, and just smoking a pipe, chatting generally about anything, and basically just chatting away. They weren't taking no notice of what flavours they were getting from the whatever pipe tobaccos they were smoking. They were just puffing away, drinking and enjoying convivial company. And this YouTuber who did this video, and it's a very good video, he asked which of these groups of people are enjoying their pipe smoke. And the implication of that was that if we try and concentrate too much on drawing out flavours, on analysing the tastes we get in from a particular tobacco, we somehow ruin the experience for ourselves of smoking a tobacco. Now, I'm as guilty as that of anyone. I've reviewed a lot of tobaccos, and I sit there trying to pull out nuances of taste and flavours, grassiness, raisins, chocolate. I mean, I was doing it a few minutes ago with Ennerdale. So I'm as guilty of that, but I did take this gentleman's point to heart. I think he had a point there, and perhaps sometimes just sitting back and enjoying the pipe in the moment is the way to go. Maybe it's the same with a glass of whiskey. Don't worry about, nosing it and pulling out whatever flavours you're pulling out. The bottom line should be the fact that, are you enjoying it? Does the taste satisfy you? Does the experience satisfy you? Does the mouthfeel satisfy you? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, and I suppose it's very much the same with pipe smoking. So the question posed at the top of this video, Ennerdale Flake, Lakeland Masterpiece, or Soapy Mess? Well, I'd have to go for Lakeland Masterpiece. It's a tobacco that has been around forever, continues to sell well. Though the one caveat I would say is it could perhaps be too much for new pipe smokers. It's not overly strong, so it's not one of those tobaccos that will blow your head off or put you to sleep. So it is worth trying. And if you don't like it at first because of that soapiness, maybe that does take a little bit of getting used to. Yes, I can't get any soapiness now. Contradicting myself then, because we're just talking about that gentleman's video, in which he was making a point of just sitting back and enjoying your pipe and not worrying too much about what taste you're getting. And then I'm off trying to taste the video again, trying to taste the tobacco again. But then that's the point of this video, I suppose. But perhaps with a tobacco like Ennerdale Flake, it is better just to sit there,
Recall those days behind me and the happiness
just to enjoy.
Every sundown you will find me with a heart that is content.
Mild. And to be honest, 9 times out of 10, that's what I do. Because usually when I'm smoking a pipe, whether it's here in the tavern or out in the beer garden or in the bothy of broken dreams, as I rather romantically call my shed, I'm not talking into a camera lens. So I am then just sitting there and enjoying the smoke. So maybe that's a counter argument to the gentleman's argument about just enjoying your pipe and not trying to pull all the flavours out of it. Yes, you're correct. That's the way to do it. But if you're making a video for the pipe community, then obviously you need to be trying to elucidate the full range of flavours and experiences you get from a tobacco, because that is the point of the video. The room note is back. It's like a geranium kind of aroma. I recently did my first live stream on this channel and it went okay. I sat there for the first 10 minutes and no one turned up, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's it, And I did publicise it by saying, we're having the first Tainted Tavern live pipe meet. I publicised the time, I publicised the date, but no one turned up. And then after about 10 minutes, people started to turn up, and it wasn't a massive amount of us there. There was 20 of us there, 20 odd, 25, 26 people, but it was absolutely fantastic, and I showed off my entire pipe collection during that live stream. That live stream now is on this page, on the Tainted Tavern channel, as a regular video. It's 90 minutes, but it's great fun, so I'll be doing another Tainted Tavern live pipe stream. I'm hoping to do one next week, midweek, probably about the same time, 9 o'clock BST, British Standard Time, because I got a lot of viewers and subscribers in other countries, a lot in America. I've got some Canadian, I've got Australia even, and Brazil. So chuffed to have someone from Brazil. Ireland, a lot in the UK, of course. So yeah, look out for that. There's a notification bell at the bottom of this video. If you click that, you'll get a notification when the Tainted Tavern goes live. I do plan eventually to do my live streams perhaps once a month, but I'm going to do another one next week. 2 Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm not quite sure yet, but I will make an announcement very soon.
That topping, which I've always believed to be rose oil, or essence of rose, which Condo uses as well, is there. But this is a totally different experience to something like Condo. This is far more richer in that rosy kind of Lakeland essence. It's beautiful.
At the moment, I think the overriding thing with Ennerdale is the creaminess. It's very creamy tobacco.
It's a traditional taste in tobacco and a traditional smell in tobacco. It's a type of tobacco smell you would have experienced if you walked into a room where there was a pipe smoker perhaps 50 years ago.
Of course, I did a full review of Ennerdale on this channel, and you will search the original review out by going to the playlist Legacy of the Pipe. You'll find it in there. But you know, I'm very much a fan of Ennerdale Flake. It's some people's favourite tobacco, and you can understand why when you smoke it.
Built on tradition, and it remains true to that tradition. That's something to be applauded in 2025. This tobacco, this taste, this aroma, this scent, this...
Look at my little feeble smoke rings. I love that scene in Lord of the Rings, the first one, Fellowship of the Rings, when Gandalf and Frodo are smoking their pipes on the hillside and blowing those pipe rings, and then turning them into boats and dragons. I can't get a perfect ring half the time. I wish I could do that.
This stretches back through the decades. It is bringing memories gushing back to me. As I say, I used to smoke quite a lot of Ennerdale back in the day.
But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming to the Tainted Tavern. Please give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. And if you haven't done so already, then please subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. It helps the channel get noticed, and I really appreciate that. If you're watching on your phone, then please click the like button. It all helps. So cheers for now. Thank you. Salange Yakida.
Please come back soon.